Life can be confusing, science makes it clearer, like looking through a telescope or looking in a mirror. You have lots of questions and we don't know what you'll find, so get into the data and into a scientific state of mind.
Hi, my name's Collin. I like to read, ride my bike, and play video games. All of these are possible because of science. Welcome to Chi-Sci, where children and science come together. We're at Vassar College in Ely Hall, where I have this nice little museum filled with rocks and fossils. Let's see what we can find. Come on. Awesome! Fossils give us clues about organisms from the past. They're made from rocks and minerals. There are all different kinds of fossils. Sometimes a whole organism is fossilized. Or whole groups of organisms. Wow, look at all those footprints. Hi everyone, I'm Mom.
Hey Collin. So what did you do today?
Well, we went to the museum at Vassar College, and it's a nice little museum full of rocks and fossils, and it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anything there that interested you?
Well, what interested me was the footprints, like from an animal,
Okay.
and this tree stump looking thing.
Okay.
It was like, I think it was this big.
Yeah. I think I remember the one that you're talking about. So, you want to talk about fossils for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the footprint fossils that you talked about are a sort of fossil called an impression, where you have a cast, which is the filled-in space, and an impression, which is the place that's left behind by the animal's feet.
Cool.
And so what happens is an animal will walk through, and before those footprints have a chance to wash away, an avalanche or something like that happens. It covers them up, and the dirt inside fills in all of the spaces, and over time it becomes rock hard, and it preserves those footprints that were left behind.
Cool.
Neat, huh?
It's kind of like when, like, a bug got stuck in sap or whatever from the trees.
Well, that's a different kind of a fossil.
Back when the dinosaurs were like,
That-
in the world.
That's a different kind of fossil.
Oh, cool.
The other fossil that you mentioned, the tree trunk looking kind of thing, it wasn't really a tree trunk at all. It was some other kind of plant. But that fossil was formed by a process called permineralization.
Ooh, that's a big word.
It sure is. Basically, what it means is that, an animal or a plant will get covered up again by dirt or avalanche or something like that. It happens very quickly. And over time, that plant or animal will decay.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll leave little empty spaces behind.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, water will permeate through the soil, and that water usually will carry minerals, and the minerals actually get left behind in those spaces that are left open while the animal or the plant decays. So over time, that entire plant or animal, as the entire plant or animal decays, will get replaced by all of those minerals. So what you actually see when you dig up a fossil isn't really a dinosaur bone at all. It's really a rock that just looks like a dinosaur bone. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
So I have an idea.
What?
How would you like to make your own fossil?
Awesome, I would.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take a sponge and some Epsom salts and see if we can permineralize that sponge.
Cool.
You want to try it out?
Yeah, let's get started.
Yep, let's get started.
For this experiment, you will need a pint-sized container of Epsom salts, 1 to 2 cups of water, and a container with a sponge. Heat the water to boiling and dissolve as much of the salt as you can into the water.
That's right, you want it to get super saturated. We don't have millions of years to make fossils, so in order to speed it up, we want a solution that's full of minerals. And you can get a lot more minerals dissolved in hot water than you can in cold water.
Add add a few drops of food coloring if you want, and allow the saltwater solution to cool. After the solution is cool, pour it into the container with your sponge. Only enough to cover the sponge, you won't need much. Leave it on the counter to dry, or you can put it outside in the sunny location. If you want to speed it up like we did, put it in the oven at 200 degrees when the water is almost completely dried up. We're back.
We're back, and it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yep, and we poured our solution over our sponge, the salt, remember Epsom salts?
Yeah, the Epsom salts.
And what happened?
Well, we first put it on the counter, but it took too long, so we put it outside.
In the sun.
Uh-huh.
And what happened?
The color went away.
Yeah, the color went away, we noticed. So I think maybe the sun bleached the food coloring, but we're going to check the inside of this in a little bit and see if maybe the coloring is on the inside, but all of the coloring in the water went away, didn't it?
Yeah.
So then what did we do? Because it wasn't drying up fast enough for us.
We put it in the oven and sped it up.
Right, we put the sponge in the oven, and we sped it up, and now what do we have? Do you want to pick it up and see?
We have a sponge. It's hard. Glad we didn't burn it.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
So what else do you notice about it? What do you see on here?
I see burnt stuff.
Well, it's a little brown from the oven
Yeah.
because I left it in a little too long. But what about this part here?
That's some of the salt.
Right, there's salt left on the outside. And that represents our minerals that made up the fossil, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And they're hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would like to cut this open and see what the inside is like.
Me too.
Yeah?
Let's cut it open.
So, why don't you take these great big giant scissors.
Super shears.
Super shears.
You.
And you try to cut it. Wait a minute. Try to cut it this way.
Okay.
On the end there. Can you cut through that?
Oh yeah, I can. Made an actual
A couple little cuts. There we go. Why don't you break this little piece off?
Whoa, it's not actually on the inside.
It's a little moist on the inside. Wow, I can't believe there's still a lot of water in there like that.
Can we
Why don't
add
I-
some more?
Why don't I just break it?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can break it.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, look how brittle that is.
I know. It's
That-
like breaking off an asteroid.
Yeah, that's from the salt going in there. So this is actually what happens when a fossil gets created. If you look very closely, you can see the little salt crystals in there.
Oh my
Those
God.
were the minerals.
They're little white things.
Right, sparkly. Those are the minerals that got left behind. And it's the same process that happens when a fossil is created. Of course, it takes much, much longer, doesn't it?
Millions of years.
Millions of years. So did you have fun making a fossil?
Yep.
Me too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
The earth goes round the sun, but can you prove it? This desk has chewing gum. What will remove it? I don't know, but I have a guess, and I'll test my hypothesis. Life can be confusing, science makes it clearer. When you're seeking answers, science brings them nearer. You don't need a lab coat or big goggles all the time. Just get into the data and into a scientific state of mind.